mean, anybody who watches Dateline knows DNA and fingerprint and touch and trace evidence and fiber evidence is different now than what it was.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Genealogy, all that stuff. When we took over the case, Mark and I focused on that probably more than anything, because that's just the new technology. There's some forensic technology that has also aided our case, okay? And it suggests, with a reasonable degree of certainty, that the boot prints in the snow that were found that morning, remember we talked about the Arctic Cat boots?
Yep.
Do you remember the Arctic Cat boots?
I had many pairs of boots.
But the boots that you turned over, do you remember turning those boots over to law enforcement?
I don't remember specifically, no.
Okay, all right.
Because I had probably 3 or 4 pairs of boots.
Okay. So those boots were submitted to the crime lab. And now with technology being what it is...
We have a warrant for your arrest, so we're going to have to end up taking you down to the jail today, okay?
I got some appointments.
You're not going to make those appointments, unfortunately. I'm sorry.
For nearly 40 years, the woman you see right now, 79-year-old Mary Jo Bailey, has been on the run. All to hide one of the strangest and most mystifying cases that Wisconsin has ever seen.
The killing of Yvonne Menke shook the community she lived in to its core.
After the patrolman arrived, found the 40-year-old mother laying face down in a pool of blood.
So it was nearly impossible to prove, until now.
But for those 4 decades, detectives have pursued every lead, every witness, and every piece of evidence they could gather. And all of it points to Mary and a horrific love triangle, because beneath that innocent face is a vile old woman.
37 years of living with this. I can't imagine the gravity on your shoulders all of this time. Our number one goal is that we want closure. That's it. There is a tip that was brought forward. The district attorney's office is ready to file charges against you for homicide.
Around 6:20 a.m. on December 12, 1985, deputies from the Polk County Sheriff's Office received a 911 call from a panicked young girl in St. Croix Falls, Wisconsin. The caller was Julie, the daughter of 45-year-old Yvonne Menke. She told dispatchers her mother hadn't returned after stepping outside to start her car. First responders rushed to the scene, completely unaware they were stepping into a case that would take nearly 4 decades to solve. Lying in the stairwell of her home was Yvonne. She'd been shot 3 times with a .22 caliber weapon, with at least 2 of those rounds being fired execution style, and her killer was long gone. Yvonne was known as a kind, quiet, and gentle woman, someone deeply devoted to her children and who avoided conflict at all costs. So who would want to harm someone like that? The only clues left behind were footprints in the snow leading to and from the house, and a note in Yvonne's bag that read, "Touch of Class," with the initials MJL. With those cryptic clues, investigators began a relentless search, and at the center of it all was a woman named Mary Jo Bailey. Mary Jo and Yvonne were entangled in a love triangle with a man named Jack. He'd met Mary Jo through their shared interest in horse racing, and their relationship grew quickly, even as Jack continued seeing Yvonne. Friends and family said the triangle caused constant tension between the 2 women, but no matter how hard police pushed, they found nothing concrete linking Mary Jo to the murder, aside from a .22 caliber firearm in her home. Her alibi was airtight. She'd claimed she'd been home all day, and there was nothing to prove otherwise. The case went cold for decades, until 2009 when it was reopened, and again in 2022, when detectives finally made a breakthrough. After Yvonne's murder, Jack eventually cut ties with Mary Jo, and by 1989 started dating another woman named Linda. On December 2, 2022, detectives interviewed Linda and struck gold. She described how Mary Jo harassed both her and Jack for years, breaking into their home not to steal, but to vandalize photos of the couple together. Mary Jo even called Linda to threaten her directly, saying, "If you know what's good for you, leave Jack alone," and once put nails in her car tires. That gave detectives their first major lead and made that mysterious touch of class note start to make sense. During the cold case review, investigators learned from a witness that Touch of Class had been the slogan painted across the bug shield of Mary Jo's pickup truck back in the mid-1980s. And MJL, well, they were Mary Jo's initials. That meant the note found in Yvonne's bag wasn't random. Mary Jo had been stalking her in the days leading up to the murder, and Yvonne likely spotted her truck and wrote it down. By January 2023, detectives finally had enough to question Mary Jo at 79 years old, hoping to close a nearly 40-year-old murder case once and for all. The following footage has been provided by the Polk County Sheriff's Office in Wisconsin.
Here, Joe.
Good morning.
Thank you. Thanks.
After a bit of small talk with Mary, detectives start with the basics, confirming her relationship with Jack's family. After all, it's been nearly 40 years.
I'm wondering if you can talk to me a little bit about Jack's family, and more specifically, back in like 85, the dynamics of
I
like.
knew his mom and dad, the sisters weren't around.
Okay.
His mom and dad were both alive at that time, and well, he had been out of work for a long time. He worked at Champion Aircraft, and when they left, he never found another job. I think that was some of his mental issues, and he stayed on the farm, and he thought he was going to inherit the farm. That's what he kind of thought, from what I understood.
Okay.
And then his mom passed away, his dad passed away first, then his mom, because this is over many years, but and then he found out he wasn't getting the whole farm.
Okay.
And then that's when he married this gal. She had money and whatnot, and went to where his son lives in Montana, Eureka, Montana.
Sure. So now you're the gal. That's Linda, right?
Yeah, the one he's married to. Yeah, or he
Yeah.
passed away, I guess, a couple of years ago now,
Yeah,
something
yeah,
like that.
yeah.
Somebody said.
Okay. So in 85, is Jack living by himself at the farm, or he's living
No,
with
his parents are
His
there.
parents
Yeah,
are there
his
too.
parents are
Okay. And then the sister is, I think, Nancy and Vivian, right? Did I get those?
And Nancy and Vivian, and then there was one that was, I think, was adopted.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, you're right.
She had a little slow mental or whatever, anyway. And she lived, I think, Siren, Danbury or someplace.
Okay. Where did Vivian and Nancy live at the time, if you remember?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
I never.
Locally, do you think?
I thought one was maybe in the Twin Cities,
Okay.
Vivian, and then Nancy. She was someplace else. I don't know, Michigan. I can't tell you
Yeah.
for sure.
Do you remember, and I always say back then, you know the time frame I'm looking for, the 85 range. Do you remember having a lot of interactions with the sisters? Were they around much?
No.
No. Okay. I was just trying to figure out the family dynamics because Yvonne, of course, is the one we're
Concerned about.
we're
Yes.
concerned about, right? She was a cousin, or
Yeah, I think they were
reportedly
related.
a
Yeah, I think they
cousin,
were related. Yeah.
yeah. Okay. So, do you remember ever having any conversations with Nancy or even Jack, for that matter, or Vivian, or anybody, about Yvonne and Jack's relationship and how the cousin
No.
thing was an issue? Never talked about that, or Jack never talked about that?
No.
Okay.
Before moving any further, it's important to understand an incident that took place on the morning of December 10th, just 2 days before Yvonne was killed. At the time, Yvonne's son James was also living at the house, though he wasn't interviewed back then. When detectives revisited the case in 2022, they finally sat James down and he revealed something crucial. In the years leading up to Yvonne's murder, the family had been receiving strange phone calls at all hours of the day. The voice on the other end was always muffled and distorted, but the question was always the same. Were Yvonne and Jack together, and if so, where? These calls continued right up until December 10th, when Yvonne's daughter Julie received one last call. Only this time the woman didn't ask about Jack. She asked what time Yvonne usually left for work. 2 days later, at that exact time, Yvonne was murdered as she stepped outside to start her car.
Back to Yvonne a little bit. And I don't read into this, but our job is to go through the reports and to clarify what some of these investigators meant back then, because some of them aren't around anymore, right?
Yeah.
So we're reading reports that are 30-some years old. The phone call stuff. So yesterday we talked a little bit about that, and there's this phone call between you and Yvonne, and correct me if I'm wrong, in like 1983, where,
It could have been.
Could have been.
I have no idea anymore.
and that was the call where you and Yvonne kind of talk about.
Well, yeah, we found out what he was doing.
Yeah, yep,
Basically.
Yep, right, and you talk about it, and
Yeah.
and then yesterday you mentioned that there was a phone call with Yvonne, or you made to Yvonne, where you're looking for Jack.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
was the night I was supposed to be out there to ride, and he wasn't there.
Okay. Do you remember if you actually talked to Yvonne, or if that was a...
No, I think I just asked for him.
Okay, so someone did answer the phone.
Yeah, I think it would have been her problem. I mean, I
Okay.
assume. I don't know if some kids were living with her at that time. She
Okay.
had children, I think, and
Yeah,
so I don't know if they were there or not.
okay. And do you remember, was it a long conversation, or was
No,
it...
he said it was raining at his place, so that's why he left. And I said, well, it wasn't raining at my house, so I came out to ride like I was supposed to, and I said, well, that's okay, then we have to
Sure.
reset it.
Okay. In relation to when Bonnie was killed, which is December 12th, in relation to that, do you remember roughly the time frame of that call? Was it in the fall? Was it in the
Oh,
winter?
it would have been, I could have even been a year before that.
Oh, I see.
There
Okay.
was nowhere
Okay.
near that. Yeah,
Okay.
it might have been a year. Yeah, because by then that stallion, Kelsey's, let's see, that sold him. And yeah, and then that's when he wasn't, yeah, and I wasn't working with them then anymore. I was working with just my own horses.
Okay. Okay. All right. That helps. That helps. And then, not to beat a dead horse, but I want to clarify a couple things, if you don't mind. After Yvonne gets killed, you mentioned yesterday that Jack was dating some gal. Or maybe not dating.
Well, it
some
was,
word.
yeah, it was a while after. I mean,
Okay.
it wasn't, that I remember, it was the next summer that I saw this one girl.
Okay.
And I don't know, because I think his dad said something about it, that she was over in Minnesota, but I did see her one time. Tall, thin, dark hair. I have no idea beyond that.
And was she in the horse world too? If you know?
Not that I know of.
Okay.
She had a horse, and I think that's how he met her, or something her dad said.
Okay. And you think that she was living in Minnesota, like Taylor's Falls area, or...
Yeah, it could have been anywhere over there,
Yeah.
because I thought I remember his dad saying something. But yeah, he had to go get his truck. His truck quit when he was over there, and had to pull his truck back.
Okay.
So that's, I remember that now, because that was, but who she was or anything, and she was not in the horse world, the show world that we were in. She was a person that had a horse, I thought, at least, or something.
Okay.
That's all I remember his dad saying.
And just to clarify from what you said yesterday, Yvonne dies in December of '85. I keep using that as a timestamp because that's the easiest thing to remember
Yeah.
back then. After Yvonne dies, you and Jack continue your business relationship, that it's not physical.
Not till next summer, when we actually started showing horses again.
Okay.
Oh, we still belonged to some of the clubs,
Okay.
so we ran in, or, like that, but we didn't start any riding till, well, summer or whenever, started working horses again. I don't remember that year, because it was '85, I can't remember. I had my own horses, I was not working, and I don't remember, I honest to God don't remember. Or if he came to some of the shows that I saw, but I just don't think I was working with him, was sharing transportation at that time.
Mm-hmm.
I just cannot remember for sure which years.
You guys weren't romantically involved?
No.
Okay.
When I say that's an understatement, I mean it, because Mary Jo wasn't just romantically involved with Jack, she was obsessed. At first, both Yvonne and Mary Jo were jealous of each other, but by the end of 1985, Jack had made his choice. He didn't want Mary Jo anymore. He wanted Yvonne. That decision sent Mary Jo into a spiral. She called up a close friend in an uncontrollable state of distress, and that friend spent hours calming her down in a car, just hours before Yvonne was murdered. And now, Granny here is about to lie through her dentures and explain that level of obsession as,
We're still friends and
Yeah.
whatnot, and
yeah, doesn't make too much sense now, does it?
I think he used to do some shoeing for me, if I remember back there at one time.
Mm-hmm.
And then still, I was keep looking at that horse, because I was thinking that was the one I was riding at the time. And he came to some of the big shows to see how all of us were doing. You know, he knew a lot of people.
And do you continue that business relationship with Jack, but you don't get involved with him romantically?
Not romantically, but
Yeah.
for years we still stayed friends.
Yep.
And I do remember the one time when he got sick, he called me, because I was working at my daughter's. Oh my God, that would be years after, maybe even. And I didn't even recognize his voice on the phone. And he said, when you come back, can you stop over and bring me some crutches? And I thought, what in the world? So I went over, and he was really sick. I took him to emergency. And then I didn't hear anything. Then he was in the hospital for a few days, and when I came back, then I stopped, and he was in the hospital, and they said he was tearing out the IV lines. He was tearing out the, what do you call the other lines? Anyway, they said, we can't do anything with him. So I said, well, I can take him back home. I don't know what else, because he was refusing everything. And that's when his sister Nancy came down then, too.
Okay.
But I was doing all the chores out there with the horses and stuff, and we had some neighbors and some other people that I knew, friends of his, to get the hay in that year. Because he was down and out about 3 months. He had something with his blood. I can't remember what it was. But I know I did all the chores and stuff until he got feeling better. And then, of course, he got feeling better, he got ornery, and I left.
Yeah, right.
That's his personality.
In the timeline of 85 to future, right? Months, weeks, years, aside from the girl in Minnesota that we talked about, anybody else that Jack was dating, if you know, leading up to Linda? I know at some point Linda comes in, right?
Yeah, I don't even remember then because because I met Dave, the guy I married, my second husband, and I had been dating him. That was 89, 89 when I met him.
Okay.
I can't remember exactly. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
The girl you saw that time, tall, slender, dark hair, was that Linda?
No,
or are we talking somebody else?
No, that was somebody else.
Okay.
Because Linda didn't live that far away, and this girl I know was in Minnesota because I remember. That's all I can remember about that. And then his dad made the comment he had to pull him home because his car or truck quit or something when he was over there. I just had to kind of laugh.
Okay.
And I mean, there could have been lots of others, but I stayed out of his business, and who I dated was not his business.
Yeah, right. And Jim Orr, if I remember right, he left the area in late 85, early 86, right?
Jim was one of Mary Jo's former lovers before she became involved with Jack. Even after Yvonne's murder, the two stayed in touch, and years later Jim would become a key witness once the case was reopened. Back in 1985, during her initial interview, Mary Jo admitted to owning a .22 caliber handgun. But since investigators couldn't connect it directly to the murder, the lead went nowhere. When the case was reopened in 2009, detectives tracked down Jim, and what he told them changed everything. He revealed that Mary Jo hadn't just owned one .22, she had access to two. Just weeks before Yvonne was killed, the two had swapped guns. Jim gave Mary Jo his Remington Model 66 rifle, and she gave him her .22 handgun. In the days before Yvonne's murder, Mary Jo had traded her weapon for another with the exact same caliber, the same type used to kill Yvonne. So now detectives have one question: why? Why make that trade right before the murder?
So Jim Orr, remember yesterday when I came in, I said we're investigating a tip with Jim Orr. So I'm going to go into that a little bit, okay? So back reading the police reports, there's a lot of talk about a gun.
Oh yeah, because I was trying to sell mine. What did I have at the time now? It's the .22 pistol I got yet. And Jim was going to try and sell it for me. He knew people. And so, but he gave me his .22 rifle in case I needed it. And because I had rats coming across my, down the road there was a farm, and then he had a garbage dump, which was right on my fence line. And when it got cold, the rats started coming. So I was shooting the rats before they got in my barn.
Oh, okay. All right.
So he had it.
That was the rifle.
I had the rifle at that time then. He had my gun, the pistol.
Okay, and you were shooting the rifle at the rats.
Well, I don't know that I ever had to use it. And because some had gotten in the barn one time too, and a skunk I had to chase out. But I don't think I ever used it.
Oh, okay.
I mean, it was there if I needed it.
I see.
But I didn't use it. I never had a reason to use it.
Okay.
Well, she didn't use it on the dogs, but she did use it on a human.
So the .22 pistol that's referenced in the reports.
Yeah, Jim had it at his
Jim had
place.
that.
Yeah.
And that was originally yours that you gave to Jim. Am I getting that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I have it back.
I gotcha. So
Yeah.
that's the gun that eventually came back to you. Did you
Yeah.
give it back to you then? Or
My
months later?
sister-in-law went and picked up, because they took all my brother's guns, rifles and all. I mean, he did hunting and whatnot. They took all his guns. I think they took anything Jim had. I don't know what else, or who else,
Okay.
actually. But I know, I remember my brother's.
Okay.
What was your brother's name again?
Raymond,
Okay, yeah, right.
Yeah. Okay, I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah.
The 22 gun that you have now and the one that we're talking about is what? Do you remember what kind of it is? It's a Ruger.
this is
Smith.
Smith and Wesson.
Smith and Wesson. Because there's a lot of guns talked about in the report, so I'm just trying to keep it all straight.
Yeah.
And that's a revolver. Or
It's a pistol revolver, yeah.
Yeah.
It's on I think it's on a bigger frame. It looks bigger
Yes.
than what it is supposed to.
That makes sense. Okay.
And I only carried it, well, when I was traveling, I had that big living quarters horse trailer. It was a 3-horse, it was 14,000 pound. That's the one I was traveling with back and forth. And when I had to sleep at night, I had that on my pillow, because I had to sleep in my camper, but I mean, it's in by myself. I could put my horse in a stall,
Mm-hmm.
but I had that there just in case.
I see. Okay. So you gave it to Jim. Jim gives you the rifle. Was there some talk about Jim was going to trying to sell the pistol?
Yeah, I said-
or-
I said if he could sell it, I said, I thought I'd rather have a rifle, just a 22
Mhm.
rifle.
Mhm.
And it'd be easier, I just don't, I'm not big on guns anyway,
Mhm.
but in my divorce, that's the one I wound up with.
Oh, I see.
So-
Okay.
Because actually, the other 22 rifle we had was supposed to be mine, but he got it, so that's okay, I'll take the other.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
So the pistol is the one you wound up with in the divorce,
Yeah,
that's what I,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah, because it's old, I don't know how long my husband had, I don't even remember, he got it a long, long time ago.
Right. All right. And the rifle, did law enforcement seize that, or did that get back to Jim's? If you know.
Yeah, they got it all straightened out.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they got it all straightened out. Everybody got the ones back. I got my pistol back, he got his rifle back, my brother got all his back.
Right. Do you remember what your conversations were with Jim back then when all this talk about guns being submitted to the police department and...
Yeah, we were kind of wondering why they were taking every size and shape they could get a hold of.
Okay. So you did talk to Jim about some of that stuff?
Well, yeah.
Yeah, I would think so, right?
Yeah,
Because
we all talked about it, my brother.
Yeah,
And it's like, what in the world, you're taking everything we got.
yeah,
Any gun of any size and shape for him.
yeah. Because I think Jim had more guns taken from him, or he submitted, I shouldn't say taken.
Yeah, he submitted them,
Right.
so did my brother.
Yeah.
Because my brother had a lot of guns.
Did that ever make Jim mad? Did he ever talk about it, or... he
No, I
was
figured,
just doing-
what's the purpose? I mean, we know it's none of these,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
so why not? I mean, why wouldn't you,
yeah,
would be the question.
yeah, right, okay. And then the last time you talked to Jim, it's been years, right?
Yeah, I haven't had any contact. I often think about some of my old friends and I'd like to find, and I have found some just to talk to them, see how they're doing and whatnot, but I haven't been able, I don't remember his middle name, and I don't know where he's at. Sometimes you can find them that way.
Mm-hmm,
That's how I found some others, friends, and then
okay,
because one old friend of mine and they had passed away that I didn't even know
okay.
about.
Okay. And
But
so
yeah.
you're not on Facebook or anything, right? That's the
I'm
best
on
way to-
Facebook, yeah.
Oh, you are? Oh, okay, that's the
But
best way
then
to
nothing
find
comes
people.
up on Facebook.
I see.
But there is different ones you can use to search. If you have the name, you have to have an area, I mean, because there's, and that I don't have. Otherwise, if I kind of knew where he was, I might be able to find him.
I got you. Okay. All right, that makes sense.
Yeah, because it costs like $20, but
Sometimes it's worth it, right?
I know, yeah, because
right.
like I say, it just, trying to get in contact with old friends.
Right, okay.
I mean, the older you get, you think more about your friends that you have.
No doubt.
And speaking of friends, let's talk about another important name in Mary Jo's story, the second Linda. This isn't Jack's wife, but she was Mary Jo's best friend at the time. To keep things simple, we'll call her LL. When LL was first interviewed back in 1985, she completely took Mary Jo's side, saying she could never do something like this. But 37 years later, in December of 2022, she finally came clean. She admitted she had lied and gave up an important piece of information. Right after the murder, Mary Jo had given Jim the .22 to sell, which meant that gun swap wasn't just some harmless trade. She was trying to get rid of a murder weapon. Besides that, Mary Jo also handed him clothes to burn immediately after Yvonne was killed. So how is she going to lie her way out of this one?
Linda name comes up a lot in the reports. Have you
Yeah,
talked
she
to
was
her?
my friend. No, I haven't talked to her in a long time.
Okay.
She kind of got out of the horses
Mhm.
herself, because that was our plan. Because we showed together for 40 years, I think it was.
Okay.
And then she kind of went into the paints, and then I got into the Morgans. So we were still friends, but we didn't show together anymore because we were going different ways.
Mhm.
Yeah, and we rode together out in the Barrens all the time. She was, I would say, my best friend back then.
Okay, all right. There's a tip that came in that we're trying to put some gravity to, okay? And I come at every interview with the idea that if I'm straightforward, that's the only way I know how to be. I'm not someone that can come into a room and like, hey, shiny point over here and try to play mind tricks. I'm not that smart.
Well, see, that's what they did to me, their little mind tricks. But, you know, and they said, my ex-husband, some ridiculous thing. What if he said that? But I didn't take that what if at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, there's no reason he would say anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, then it dawned, I found out later, they're allowed to lie to you. And turn things around, twist it around. Is that maybe how you put it?
Yeah.
And back then I didn't,
Sure.
I didn't even
Yeah.
think about it. I
So,
just said, I can't understand why he'd say anything like that. And that was all my only answer.
yeah, and I'm glad we're talking about this because we're allowed to lie, okay?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Now Mark and I have worked this case for a long time, and we just have a similar personality. While I'm allowed to lie, I don't lie.
A lot of us just kind of
Okay.
twisting things a little.
Yeah, well, some
Some
of that
ways.
is like there might be some information we can't tell you, right?
Oh, yeah, I understand that.
Right, so we
Yeah,
like have to tap dance
twisting
around
something to
certain
get
things.
somebody to say something, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's the way I'm gonna come at
Yeah.
the other person.
Yeah.
And
So-
I didn't know anything about that.
Yeah. So during our conversation here, while I'm not going to lie in the sense that I'm not going to shy away from straightforward questions
No,
because
that's
my
fine.
job,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, well, that's the only way you get down to
That's-
figuring this out.
That's
And I wish we could figure it
Yep.
out, I really do.
and that's
It's a
our goal.
sad situation.
That's our goal. So just so you know from where I'm coming from, if I ask you a question, I'm not playing tricks. If I tell you something, there's some degree of confidence behind it.
Yeah,
Okay.
okay, that's
All right.
fair.
Okay. So Jim Moore, there is a tip that was brought forward that I don't even know a timeline. I'll say shortly after Yvonne was killed. Whatever that means.
Yeah.
Right? That you brought some clothes to Jim Moore's house, and either you burned the clothes at Jim Moore's house or Jim Moore burned them for you. I think the tip is not necessarily that specific. But the tip is from someone who we've interviewed and we've vetted pretty thoroughly. So there's a degree of confidence behind the tip, right?
Yeah, I
Um,
do not remember anything, but
Okay. Did you ever? What would be the reason for someone to come forward to law enforcement and say that all these years later?
I have no idea.
Okay. Did you at any point go to Jim Moore's house and burn any clothes?
No, I never burned any of my car. I mean, I was out there on and off, but I
Yeah.
never did anything like that.
Did you have Jim? Did you ask Jim to burn any clothes for you?
Not that not that I ever remember. I don't know that it would have, unless there were some old rags or something like that, that it's something to get rid of. But I can't think of anything.
Because full disclosure, we talked to Jim. Jim lives in California.
Oh,
So we've talked to Jim, and we have an interview with Jim, and we've confronted him on the same thing. And this is where I'm not going to tell you what some of the stuff I can tell you,
oh yeah.
but I will tell you
understand that.
straightforward that we've talked to Jim
Yeah, okay.
about this very tip. So there's law enforcement has reason to believe that there is some truth to what was told to us. And our goal here at the end of the day, Mary, can I call you Mary or Mary Jo? Do you prefer?
I usually go by Mary Jo.
Mary Jo, okay. So our goal here at the end of the day is this. We want closure. That's what we want, right? The Minky family wants closure. We've talked to the Minky family. The district attorney wants closure. Everybody wants closure. It's 37 years, right? That's a lot of time, okay? And I've even had discussions with our DA's office where our DA's office would be like, you know what? If we can get some closure, we have a lot of leeway in terms of how we resolve whatever we resolve, okay? I mean, we've had those conversations with the DA's office, right? Nobody is expecting anybody in this case to say, person A, you're responsible, you're going to prison for the rest of your life. That hasn't been brought up, nor would it be brought up. But we do have a job to try to get that closure, okay? So there is no secret that we're here to talk to you and confront you on some of the things that have come up,
Sure.
because that's our job, okay? So we have this tip that came in that's been thoroughly vetted, and like I told you, there is some reason to believe from the law enforcement side, there's some confidence behind this tip, that something happened at Jim's house, right? So we wanted to ask you about it because that's how we roll.
Even with everything detectives had learned from Jim and LL, there was still one more witness, someone who saw and heard everything. Yvonne's daughter, Julie, who was home that evening. When Yvonne left for work shortly after 6 a.m., Julie heard whip-like noises coming from where her mother usually parked the car. She looked out from a small bathroom window to see what was going on and saw Yvonne lying on the ground, with a figure running away. At the time, it was hard for her to tell whether the suspect was a man or a woman, but she described them as around 5'9" with broad shoulders, wearing a gray dress coat and holding a paper bag in their right hand. Then, 8 years later, another witness came forward. He said he'd seen a woman near the building that same morning, describing her as a middle-aged woman, short, between 5 foot and 5'6", wearing a gray knee-length coat with a 2 to 3 inch fur collar and dirty hair peeking out. Sound familiar? But for a moment, let's put aside all the witness accounts, all the tips that came in against Mary, and ask the real question. Was there any actual forensic evidence? And the answer is yes, as you're about to find out.
In addition to, over the years, because we're now in 2023 and we're no longer in 1985, technology has advanced. I mean, anybody who watches Dateline knows that DNA and fingerprint and touch and trace evidence and fiber evidence is different now than what it was.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Genealogy, all that stuff. When we took over the case, Mark and I focused on that probably more than anything, because that's just the new technology. There's some forensic technology that has also aided our case, okay? And it suggests, with a reasonable degree of certainty, that the boot prints in the snow that were found that morning, remember we talked about the Arctic Cat boots?
Yep.
Do you remember the Arctic Cat boots?
I had many pairs of boots.
But the boots that you turned over, do you remember turning those boots over to law enforcement?
I don't remember specifically, no.
Okay, all right.
Because I had probably 3 or 4 pairs of boots.
Okay. So those boots were submitted to the crime lab. And now with technology being what it is, there's a reasonable degree of certainty that those boots match the boots left in the
Size print or something like that?
Yeah. So, obviously from an investigator standpoint, that leads us to ask you, if you were at the crime scene, what's the other logical explanation as to why your boot print is in the snow next to the body?
And it's not just that the boot prints matched, which is unbelievable on its own, it's the statistical probability that those boots actually belong to Mary. The pair recovered from her home were women's size 5 Arctic Cat snowmobile boots. To figure out how rare they were, detectives reached out to Tim Benedict, director of marketing for Arctic Wear Inc. He explained that between 1973 and 1981, only about 1,000 pairs of size 5 Arctic Cat boots were sold nationwide, and fewer than 100 women's pairs were distributed after the company went bankrupt in 1981. By 1985, that model was completely obsolete and nearly impossible to find in Wisconsin. The Wisconsin State Crime Lab also confirmed that the tread design, size, and heel wear pattern of Mary Jo's left boot matched the crime scene prints, though there weren't enough unique characteristics for an absolute match. So the odds of someone else in the area owning one of those same 100 boots with the same size, build, and tread pattern and just happening to kill Yvonne were essentially zero.
Yeah, I was gonna
And
say,
what would that
there would
be?
have been somebody that had another boot similar to that, size-wise, I mean, or
Well,
whatever. I don't remember what the
yeah, so
prints are or anything. I mean, I don't know what they are, what they
Sure.
look like.
So what they did is they took your boots and then they matched it to a sulfur cast of the print. So they not only look at the size, but they look at the wear pattern, the tread pattern. I mean, a lot of individual characteristics about shoes or boots. Like if I take my shoes out, you know, the bottom of my shoe is going to tell a lot of things. It's going to tell wear pattern. It's going to tell most likely at least a general manufacturing date, you know, because shoes change, right? The manufacturer changes the brand over years. So then through that information, the lab is able to make an opinion, and then we go to Articat, and Articat says, oh yeah, that specific boot is this model, and during this time frame, they only sold these amount to the general population, and this specific size is, the chances are, you know, X amount that this specific boot was sold in this region. You know what I mean? That, like, you start to do kind of the statistical analysis, the probability that this boot is the same boot that left the print is pretty freaking high.
Was the print right there at her place?
Right by the body, and then there was another print that was found down the alleyway, and that is in the same location that we have at least one eyewitness who saw the suspect.
Oh.
That has a very, very consistent physical description of you.
Well, I know they took my long gray coat,
Yeah,
and I seem to think that's what that person had on.
right. So right now we're operating on the very strong belief that your boots, the boots that were found in your house, are the same boots that were found next to the body. So
I'm saying, I guess
how did that happen?
They're not.
Okay. Would there be any other explanation as to how that would happen?
I don't know. It could be somebody else had boots like them. I don't know. They weren't mine. I mean, I was not there, those prints. And I don't, like I say, I don't remember. And they took my long gray coat, so I assume that's what they were looking for, somebody with a long gray coat. And they never gave it back to me.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know.
Okay.
That's what they took for a coat. That's the coats I had.
Okay. Well, there's some other DNA evidence that is out there that we're probably going to keep pretty tightly to us.
Oh,
just because that's our case, right? So Mark and I came with the goal of talking to you and from an adult to an adult addressing some of these concerns, okay? One of the best ways that we go about our investigation, because this isn't the first case we work other cases.
Oh, yeah.
You know? One of the best things we do to try to eliminate or support whether or not someone was involved or they weren't involved is we ask them to take a polygraph. Is that something that you would be open to?
I was told before never to do that.
Okay.
And that's why I didn't before either.
Okay. How about now? Do you have any thoughts on that? We have an FBI guy who that's literally all he does. He travels everywhere to do polygraphs. He's actually in town.
I don't feel, like I say, because I was told before not to.
Okay.
And by the attorney I had at that time.
Okay. All right.
So I guess
You understand why we're
I
right?
understand
Because
why
when it comes to eliminating or supporting or excluding people,
but the polygraph isn't always accurate. That's the thing.
I'm not a polygraph
I
examiner.
know, that's what I've been
so I
told,
can.
and I've heard of instances, and that's where it makes me leery.
Sure. I'm not a polygraph examiner, so I can't really say much about that. I don't know what the statistics are. I can just tell you, in my experience, it's been a really good tool that law enforcement uses to steer in different directions, right? Like
I used to years ago, but like I said, then after, and my attorney at that time telling me it's not a good idea.
Yeah.
You know, usually when someone passes a poly, the way that helps us is we can just eliminate somebody and move on to something else so that we're not chasing our tail.
I understand that. I understand that.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing about polys that maybe sometimes gets lost in the mix, at least in Wisconsin, I don't know what it's like in Arizona. Polygraphs, the actual exam itself is not admissible in court. Can't use it in court.
Yeah, that's right. I remember saying that.
So, obviously I'm coming at it from one side, right? I'm coming at it from a bias angle, but there's kind of really nothing to lose by taking it, right? It's not admissible in court, no matter what.
Polygraph tests aren't usually admissible in court, and for good reason. They measure physiological responses that can fluctuate for all kinds of reasons: stress, nerves, even blood pressure. But while they can't prove guilt, they do help detectives gauge whether someone's story holds up or falls apart. And while Mary Jo might be getting pressed to take one, the mind of a murderer who's managed to stay hidden for 40 years isn't going to crumble that easily.
It's just one of the tools that we use. So if you're not comfortable with it, that's fine. That's totally your choice. Obviously, there's no, you have to do it or you don't have to do it. But it's just one of our tools. So I'm going to offer it because we have a guy that's ready if you're willing to do it.
No, I don't feel comfortable
Okay,
with it.
okay.
And like I said, being my attorney said I shouldn't.
Okay.
Before, the one my attorney
Okay.
had.
One of the other things we wanted to do would be, would you submit to giving us your DNA? Because when we look back at the case file, in '85, DNA technology wasn't what it is now, although there's some different things that are in motion that I can't elaborate on. But we don't have your DNA in a sense where someone has collected a buccal swab from you, which is what we would ask to do today. So that would be another part of our investigative process. Would you submit to us collecting?
I'd have to talk to an attorney first before because I don't know enough about this stuff. I would have
Okay.
to actually talk to an attorney,
Okay,
I think.
okay. What is it that concerns you about that?
I don't know, it's just I don't feel comfortable.
Okay.
I don't know how to explain that.
Because you can understand from my standpoint, certainly no disrespect, but I mean, I've been doing this for 17 years and I've handled a lot of cases.
Well,
Maybe
wouldn't they
not
have gotten
exactly
DNA
here,
out of all that stuff that they took from me?
but I can't confirm or deny that they haven't.
Yeah, because there would be DNA all over
We have certain ways that we go about our job, right? And certain requests that are sometimes made by crime labs and such, where that's just a part of our process to be thorough. So
Oh, yeah,
you certainly
yeah.
wouldn't be the first person that I've ever asked for a DNA sample, and you won't be the last. You know, DNA is just that's just kind of 2023 law enforcement these days, right? My discussion with most people is like, well, if you didn't have anything to do with it, you weren't there, then that would be a way for you to exclude yourself as opposed to include yourself, right? Just like the polygraph. So the benefit for you, of course,
there.
I'm
Okay,
talking
then
from a law
my
enforcement-
thing was my DNA's on those boots. You got it there.
I can't get into the.
But I mean, you've already got it. To me, you've already got it.
I can't get into the science part of it.
Yeah, that's-
but remember when I tell you that I'm not going to lie to you.
Oh, no, I know,
So
I know. But I
there's
mean, that's what I'm thinking. You've got it already, if those are by boots, right? And if they're proved that they're there,
Well, your understanding of DNA is probably based on Dateline NBC, and it's different in real life than it is on the
it's
movies.
on all your clothes and everything.
Can't get into that.
Yeah.
Trust me, DNA is just different than probably what the average person believes is true, right? There's some fact and fiction that comes along with DNA. So there's a reason why we're asking, and there's a reason why I would ask anybody in your shoes that may or may not be a person of interest. Let's be honest, you're a person of interest,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Right? Anybody who had any type of relationship and or close connection and or connection of 3 layers of possibilities to Yvonne at the time, which there really aren't a lot of people when you break it all down. You're a person of interest, just like other people who are on that same list, right? So we're just doing our due diligence to either include or exclude those individuals. And because of the presence of DNA investigative leads that we're pursuing, obtaining your DNA sample would be beneficial to the case, right? Either to include or exclude.
Yeah, as I say, I want to talk to an attorney and feel safe with.
Mary Jo, even at her age, being able to weasel out of everything the detective throws at her is a testament to just how manipulative she really is. Even the murder itself was likely committed to break Jack down until only he saw Mary Jo. And there's evidence of that. Linda, Jack's wife, once asked him what his relationship with Mary Jo really was, and whether he'd seen her after Yvonne's murder. Jack admitted that after Yvonne was killed, he felt tainted, that no one would ever want him again except Mary Jo. That was a dream come true for her, and likely her true motive all along, to eliminate her only competition. If Yvonne was gone, she could finally have the man she obsessed over all to herself. Fortunately, by the time Linda came into Jack's life, Mary Jo seemed to have finally let go, at least to the extent that she wouldn't commit murder.
Because we weren't sure what you're going to say yes or no on that. We just don't know. We do have a warrant that Steve has, and that's what they're designed to do, is get a warrant in for your DNA. Because we weren't sure if you would say yes or no. We just have to have that in our back pocket, right? Because I don't want to fly back out to Arizona. So we do have a warrant to get your DNA. I'll let Steve explain the process. It's pretty easygoing process. Yeah, it's not like anything like this to get a hospital or anything like that. But just so you know, because I'm a straight shooter, I told you I'd be a straight shooter. We do have that, and we'll have to at some point collect that. Okay?
Yeah, like I say, I will have to get an attorney then to talk to them about it.
Because Mary Jo insists on having an attorney present, the interview comes to an end shortly after. But this wouldn't be her last run-in with detectives. Almost a year later, after wrapping up their investigation, they'd come knocking on her door one final time, bringing a 40-year-old murder case to a close.
Sheriff's Office. Mary Jo?
Yeah.
Hey, this is Sergeant Fax. Do you remember me?
Well,
Oh, do you mind if I talk to you for a minute?
I got a phone call here. Hey, I'll call you back.
Can you step out here for a second?
Yeah, I've got my pajamas on.
Hey, Mary Jo. Do you remember me? I'm Andrew.
From
We
Wisconsin.
were here last year.
Don't know if I do or not.
Okay, that's okay. I'm not very memorable, so that's okay.
Well, we have a warrant for your arrest. Okay? So we're going to have to end up arresting you, and we're going to take you down to the jail today, okay?
I got some appointments. I suppose I can.
You're not going to make those appointments, unfortunately. I'm
I
sorry.
know. I got to call my daughter then and let her know she's right down the street.
We can make that arrangements for you, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But
me see
we're
this
going to
real
have
quick.
to make that call, so we can't have you make
We
that
have a
call.
search warrant for your house, and this is included in the search warrant, so we're going to secure this as well, okay? That's my radio.
Oh, I thought mine was.
Yeah, that's my radio. So this detective right here, she's going to place you in handcuffs, and she's going to search you, okay? So you are under arrest. If you can just step down. So there's going to be a unit that comes over. They're going to transport you down to the jail down in Phoenix, okay? Detective Shamas is going to go with you down there. She's going to make sure you get booked in, okay? You'll see the judge within 24 hours, all right? And then you're going to go through what's called the extradition process. So Arizona is going to notify Wisconsin that you're in custody, and they'll have 30 days to come pick you up. So sometime within that 30 days...
And my daughter said, she works for a law.
Yeah. So sometime within that 30 days,
whatever it is, so you can
they'll get you and they'll take you back to Wisconsin.
Like that, I think it is.
Mary Jo's trial moved fast. Within 7 months, by July 2024, she was sentenced to life in prison for the murder of Yvonne Mink. After 38 years and 4 months, Yvonne's case was finally solved, and her killer was behind bars. Mary Jo will only be eligible for parole after serving 19 years, by which time she'll be 100 years old. Thank you for watching today's video. Whether you're new here or have been with us for a while, check out one of the craziest cases I've ever covered right here, or one of my newest uploads right here.